I thought I'd stop working and kind of show what I'm doing, fixing the fender from last weekend's carnage, and I just ended up using a soldering iron, and that gets the crack back in place and uniform. So I've just melted the plastic back together, and so my next plan is to take some wire steel window screen mesh, and I'll push that into the plastic. And that kind of acts as a vertebrae to keep the stuff together. And since it's such a big, long crack, I'm going to actually drill some holes, and then I'll mask it from the back to stop the holes from seeping. And then I'm going to pour fiberglass resin and put a little mat, just very thin coat, just something for a little bit more strength. We'll see how it sticks. But this is my try at not spending $200 on another set of fenders. So I'll be back. So alright, so now what I'm doing is just going at this in strips with the soldering iron, and I'll just dig that in and hold that down, and then I'll wait and let that cool down a little bit just to settle. You can kind of pull it back over so you get a good coverage of it. So I'll just sit here and I'll do this for a while and get this strip back on. I don't have the best bit. I need a spoon bit for the soldering iron, but I don't have one, so I'm just taking my time. And I'll just melt all that steel into the plastic. And I don't use any filler rods because I don't have any, and I never have used any. I'm sure they'd help. I'd be able to put some more material onto it, but so far this last, it'll take a couple good hits before it ends up going bad again. This one was an old repair that I did, and I'll just kind of melt that back up. Those to fill back in. But yeah, after this I'll just drill a couple holes and backmask it, and then I'll fiberglass resin it with some mat. And my idea is the resin to come into the holes and fill in there and kind of act as a way for it to really lock in and lock onto it. So all of that's done now. And I just kind of went in strips this time. So I also took my soldering iron and I just melted little dots all into it, little pimples. And I want that to be something for the fiberglass resin to bite to. So I'm still going to fiberglass resin it, but I tell you what. Ooh, there's a little pop at the end. And I just melt the outside just to smooth it over. So, yeah, just the end there. No biggie. It's going to do it anyway. But, so that's how I'm doing it. So I'll fiberglass resin it and you'll see it then. Okay, so fiberglass resin is sat. It's all locked up. And one of the tricks I do with fiberglass resin is I take a plastic bag, and once I pour my stuff on, or you can just lay it in the plastic bag and then you can take the plastic bag and lay it down on it. But if you take a plastic bag, then you don't get the nice clumpiness, and you can work all the air bubbles out of the resin, and it's a nice cleaner look. You don't have to sand it. I mean, you do if you're going to paint it, but for me, it's underneath. So, fender's fixed. Seems pretty flexible still. And I just took my sander and just hit the rough areas so the carbon fiber vinyl will hide it. So I'll rewrap it on this side at least, and no one will know the better, other than who watches this. And the 185's all fixed up. She's all welded, stiff as a rock again, and that wasn't too fun, but she's back on and ready to go for tomorrow. And the 110 just got her new chain. I'm going to need a new tensioner sprocket assembly. As you can see, that one's all junked, and I think that's why it broke, but I think a lot of mud got in there and just killed it like they always do. So I've got her pretty lathered up with marine bearing grease, and yeah. And the other trick I did was I went and got some weather strip seal, that stuff, the thin stuff, and I put it on the outside edge of the chain guard. So I'm going to try to keep the mud out of it. I've got all my grommets and everything. The chain thing ate a hole in it, so I'm just going to put Gorilla Black tape on it, clean it up real good. So there's all that fender all fixed up. You can tell the new carbon fiber from the old stuff, but let it go get muddy and it'll look pretty much the same. So looks pretty good. You can kind of see where I've melted in the carbon fiber. You can see some chunkiness, but looks alright. To show this off, Smurfwood was supposed to have a night ride this weekend. Well, that got canceled because it's supposed to rain, and I would have rode in the rain, and just to do a night ride it would have been great. So anyway, put the big red up with some neons, and it's just a pipe dream brand from Audio Pipe, and so looks pretty good. And it's only 2 light bars, and it's got a controller. I put it in the trunk, and it's 7-color LED, so I've just got it scanning all the colors. So there's that. But now there's no night ride. So, well, there's the update. I'll get this wrapped. It'll look all good, and we'll have some new footage of Smurfwood this weekend.